Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to season 7 of the Late Night Lake Show podcast. We are happy to have y'all for a new year. The Los Angeles Lakers are getting ready in just hours now from tipping off against the Golden State Warriors, trying to ruin their ring night ceremony as they open up the 22-23 season as the defending NBA champions. But we're so hyped to have you guys back for a new season of Lakers basketball. However you feel about this year going into it, just know that we're going to take care of y'all and we're going to keep pumping out that Lakers content for you. Whether we on Twitter, we on the podcast, we on YouTube, we doing a little gambling stuff coming up here too. So just stay tuned to the whole new suite of Late Night Lake Show content we got kicking off for y'all this year. But as always, I would be remiss if I did not introduce my two partners in crime. My two co-hosts from the podcast, we got my boys, Kwame and Omar. How y'all feeling today, fellas?
What up? What up?
Yeah,
Feeling
doing
all
good,
right.
man. On the eve of yet another season. Should be a good one, man. A last one was had its ups and downs, mostly downs, but
Yeah.
hopefully we can get a better outlook for this upcoming one.
Excited too. I'm hoping for a better season ahead as well. I think better days are ahead. So, yeah, let's get into it. What do you got for us, Ricky?
Yeah, let's get into it. But first, I gotta talk about the feeling in the room right now, fellas. You know, we kick off a new season, and I feel like my two road dogs aren't as hyped going into this year as previous years of Laker basketball. Can we address the elephant in a room real quick? We're gonna do our prediction show today, folks. We polled a lot of good folks around the NBA world, a couple of NBA insiders, a few folks that work directly for NBA teams, and of course, your Late Night Lake Show family. We asked an essential list of questions about the 22-23 season, and we'll have that poll out for you guys and work through the questions today. But before I get into any of that, fellas, what's up? Y'all not too excited about this year of Laker basketball? What's going on?
Think our roster needs a couple more tune-ups, man. I mean, it's definitely better than our starting roster last year, I will say. I definitely believe it's better. We have a better infusion of youth, some hungry guys, a little healthier. So I imagine we would be better this year than last year. But are we in contention? Are we title contenders? We're not favorites for damn sure. That's where a lot can be figured out throughout the season. But at the moment, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
Okay, Omar, what's up?
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not too happy. All of us, we were jerked around. We were jerked around this whole summer.
Yeah.
We almost had Kyrie Irving as our starting point guard. I had all these tweets. They're just wasting space in my drafts on Twitter. And we still have Mr. Zero, who's Mr. Day to Day, Russell Westbrook on the team. Like you said, Kwame, we have made some improvements. I do like a lot of the pieces that we added, but I mean, again, they're all fringe rotational players on. I don't even know if they start on contending type teams, right? So I don't know. There's a lot to be left to be said in terms of what our goals are with a healthy LeBron and AD. But I don't know. Maybe you guys can help change or shift my mood as we go on through this podcast. But
You know the nastier part about this, both of y'all feelings right now. Well, you guys have both taken this survey. And the survey we're about to review right now, and we're going to post the results from our larger group later on today. But hopefully that's not foreshadowing for a bunch of doom and gloom coming up here. So let's just get into it. Let's just do it. We got an essential list of Laker-related questions, NBA-related questions going into the 22-23 NBA season that really will just set the table for, I don't know, let's just call it the pulse in and around Laker Nation about the franchise. So, first question, just keeping it very brief. These are either multiple choice or, rating scale type of deal. Our first question that we asked the larger group was, how confident are you that the Lakers will have a better record than last season? I mean, obviously the bar is in hell. Right, with last year, Lakers won 33 games. So hopefully this was a softball for the larger audience. I was extremely confident. I gave that a 9 out of 10 rating, mostly because if it didn't happen, right, we might have to shut down the whole production that we got going on here, because now we've joined the likes of, the Sacramento Kings, who apparently are supposed to be good this year, but we would be officially now in poverty with LeBron James and Anthony Davis on our team. So how'd you guys answer this question? Your confidence that the Lakers will have a better record than last year?
I answered an 8. I think I'm very confident. I mean, there's almost no scenario where we will win only 33 games again. I can't see it. Yeah, let's knock on some wood here. You're right. But I can't see it again. We have a nice infusion of youth. We got some athleticism, got some defenders. Could use a little bit more size and 3-point shooting, but I think we are capable enough. I think we are a playoff team as constructed. Contenders is a different story. I think we're playoff eligible. I don't think we're a fringe playing team. I think we're a solid-ish playoff team. Again, dependent on health. So for me, I'm very confident that we'll have a better record than last season.
Omar?
I had an 8. I put an 8 down, so I am just in the same boat as you guys. I feel confident that we can win more than 33 games. I don't know how many more games over 33, but Kwame, you made a lot of good points. I think health is the biggest factor. That's always the case with any team, and obviously, of course, with LeBron James and AD. Another point I think that's big into the season is we have a new head coach, Darvin Ham. He seems like the players resonate with him and his message and theme, and that's been seen somewhat. I mean, obviously, I think this is another thing that we may get into, but I would have hoped for more promising results in the preseason. There was a lot of ups and downs in the preseason, and
never heard of it.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, the way it went last year, that was another story as well. But I'm confident. I think they'll win more than 33 games, and I think they do have a solid roster with youth and athleticism and tons of promise.
Yeah, you decide to fire a head coach, come back, and the new head coach wins just as many games as the previous one. That'd be no bueno. So, I think we're all on one accord, and hopefully the entire nation is too. That we know it won't be as bad as last year.
Ideally.
Right. Okay. All right. Question 2. Will the Lakers defeat the Golden State Warriors on opening night? Omar, what say you?
I went with yes. So here's my theory. They're going to have the ring ceremony. The Warriors are going to be on a high. A few of the guys just got paid big money, and I think they start out the gate a little rusty, champagne emotionally infused in their brains, and I think if there's one player who knows every play out of the Warriors playbook, it's LeBron James. And I think they come out swinging. And, this year they have the guys to run with them, right? Last year they were a super, super old team. And I think, they play hard and feisty and got out a win against the Warriors in opening night.
Don't forget Juan Toscano Anderson knows the Warriors playbook inside and out. So that's 2 big brains in that Laker locker room that, should push some edge towards the Lakers. Kwame, what say you? Lakers picking up the dub against the Dubs on opening night.
Oh, I think they win. I've been saying this for a minute that I think they'll win. This is kind of the unlikely game that the Lakers would squeak out. Not sure if Russ plays, not sure if he doesn't. Sounds like it's leaning towards no, but obviously we'll get an update later. But no, I think this is definitely a game that we squeak out. Like Omar said, I think they'll still be they'll be drunk off the champagne a little bit. They just got their rings. People are celebrating. Those young dudes, sphincters are going to be so tight. They're going to be choking out the game. So I got the veterans in here. I think we're good. I think we will. I think we win. We watched Anthony Davis fill him up in the preseason, obviously preseason, but we watched it. They don't have people to guard him. I'm sorry. Draymond's not going to guard. They don't have anybody to guard Anthony Davis. LeBron has always been a problem for them. You got Pat Bev, who, has his one-sided rivalry with Steph Curry. So, I think we have the tools to beat them. I predict a opening night win.
I like it. I like the optimism in the building, right? Don't let the little warm-up fool y'all. we think the season will start a little strong, right, as compared to the last 2 seasons. Look, Lakers ring ceremony 2 seasons ago, right? They ended up losing to the Clippers at home, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll see how the Warriors kind of harness that emotion. They've had just as a busy offseason for off the court reasons as anyone in the league. But we'll see how much the Draymond Green, dot in Jordan Poole's eye will impact or carry over. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think you have Klay Thompson, who knows that there's possibly another big bag at the end of this. The Warriors got to make a lot of decisions, right? I think there was a lot of players that have something to play for right now. We'll see just how fired up and how much they let their emotions get to them on opening night. I also think that the Lakers can pick up the W. I do like the stories of the Lakers roster and how they have a lot of players that need to prove some shit too. Unfortunately, it's not for payday reasons. It's not for, the big next team or big next contract reasons. It's like to still prove that they're really strong players in the NBA. But, Lonnie Walker and Kendrick Nunn, I think, are going to have impactful games. Like you said, Omar, I think Pat Bev is going to make it his mission to use all 6 fouls, and hopefully 3 of them are irritating to Steph Curry. He can mark that as a W on the night. So, and I think there's also nobody on that roster that, when he's focused, can stop Anthony Davis for 4 quarters. So let's just mark that as a 3-0 on the Lakers going 1-0 to start the NBA season. Before we get into the rest of the survey, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna dive into the real. We're gonna talk about the first 10 games and move into later on in the season. Late Night Lake Show. We'll be right back.
The Late Night Lake Show podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best legal way to play daily fantasy player props in states like California, New York, Texas, and more. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. The best part is you can mix players from different sports. You can take the over on LeBron combined with the under on Mahomes in the same entry. Prize Picks is the easiest way to play daily fantasy because it's just you versus the projected numbers. Just use our promo code LNLS, and any deposit you make can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So go support the brand and go win you some money. It's the best of both worlds. Again, use our promo code LNLS.
Anyways, Late Night Lake Show, we're back. Kwame, Omar, it's Ricky. We are, just diving into our, Kwame, you brought it up. This is pretty much our version of our GM survey, right? We polled the league. We polled the voices that you want to hear from. One guy even asked, hey, is this going to be anonymous? I was like, wow. It's a good question. Yes, we will not say who these people are, but we will say that they are respected in the NBA community. So moving on, we're going to get their answers, like we said, up on the timeline and on the social media, maybe attached to this video here. But question 3, how many wins will the Lakers have after the first 10 games of this season? This is one of the ones where you could just write 1 to 10. Keep it a buck with y'all. I went the coward's route. I said they're going to go 500. I did not honestly know where all 5 wins were coming from. I just, you got to put in your spirit that if the Lakers pick up that opening night win, that hopefully they can pick up 4 more over their next 9 games. But just a quick review of the Lakers' first 10 games. They open it up at ring night for Golden State. Then they come home to face the Clippers and then the Trailblazers. Then they head out to Denver, Minnesota, home for Denver, New Orleans, Utah, Cleveland. And then finally, that 10th game is at Cleveland. Kwame, we were talking a little bit before the show. Those Cleveland games are no longer just like, oh, yeah, I could write a W and forget about it.
Yeah, nah.
What'd you say, man? What'd you say? First 10 game reaction.
I said 5. I think they win 5 games. It could easily be 4, but I think 5. So I think we beat Golden State. I think we beat Portland. I think that we beat Minnesota. as they're still trying to gel their big men, I think we steal one from them early in the season.
I'm on Minnesota yet. They're gonna have to show me. And yeah, they did tap ass in preseason with starters not playing, but I'm gonna need to see you do it again in the regular season before I really buy into the Rudy Gobert led Minnesota Timberwolves.
Exactly. And then I think we win both Utah games, and that rounds out the 5.
There we go. Omar, what'd you say, man?
I said 4. So I obviously I'm predicting the opening night win. Portland, I think they can grab. I think the New Orleans Pelicans, I think they'll play them really tough because AD and LeBron and the whole Zion thing, there's always these, narratives going on. And I think that maybe they pull that one off. I think the Cleveland one is tough. You like you guys said, that one usually is like a easy dub, but with Mitchell there, that's going to be tough. I don't know. I think the Utah definitely is going to be a win, hopefully. But either that, maybe one of the Denver games, because they play them twice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they get beat up the first time, and the second time they come up. Denver Ham comes up with adjustments. We got to see how that comes out.
I'm not here to give the Denver Nuggets their flowers, but Jamal Murray is a hooper. He coming back. Everybody's favorite prospect, who's now in year whatever, Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of both.
Oh, yes, that's right. I don't have to look too far.
He's right here.
He's right there. Yeah, he's coming back, and
Porter looks good though. This in the preseason.
Good. So hopefully that back has been fused together permanently now, and he can string together a nice 7 years of whatever Kwame sees. I just need that for a couple of years now, please. I beg of you. But I think that they're going to be a highly motivated team. There's going to be a lot of highly motivated teams, including our Los Angeles Lakers heading into this season. It just would have been nice, right, that the pieces returning had some familiarity with the Lakers return. How many guys? 4, 5 this year? All I know is they led the NBA in players that were on the roster last season that currently aren't on any NBA roster now. Your Dwight Howards or Carmelo Anthony's, Anyways, question number 4. Let's get into it, fellas. We asked, this is a big one. This actually might be the one that is the reason for the rest of your guys' predictions. So how many games will LeBron James and Anthony Davis start together this season? What you think,
I went with 40 to 50
games
Christ. This year. I'm hopeful.
Oh, gosh.
That's
hopeful.
Hey, I mean, it's a range, right? So if they get hit 40,
you got to use past data to influence your future data. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But honestly, I mean, the way we're projecting things out, I think they're going to have to play for at least 40 of these games in 82 game season. So, my hope is, honestly, I think him losing weight and the way I think they are trying to create a scheme to, he's playing, they're going to run a lot more drop coverage. So I think that helps him on the defensive end to not use as much of his athleticism and legs to guard players on the perimeter. So, just dropping lower and just kind of taking in, mid-range jumpers and then contesting that. I think that makes his life a bit easier on the defensive end. Will help, I think, catapult in them both playing 40 to 50 games. That's my answer. I'm going to stick with it.
LeBron James played 56 games last year, my man. Let me just start that before I get your combined rating. LeBron playing more or less than 56 games this season.
More. I think he plays more.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to give. Yeah, we are. Anthony Davis with AD. What was his number of games last? AD played 40 games. God damn, man. 40 games last season. So, with that being said, AD's last 2 years, it was 40 games and 36 games. But going forward, Kwame, what'd you say? What was your range you gave it?
I gave 50 to 60. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I think they're a playoff team provided they are healthy. So they're gonna have to play 50 to 60 games to reach that mark. If those two play 50 to 60 games and they're not a playoff team, then all hope is absolutely lost.
Yeah,
Like there's nothing to look forward to. So I think they definitely do. I mean, they both mentioned it several times that their biggest ability is just availability. They got to be there. They got to show up for the team. They got to play big minutes. They got to do all that. So that's what's gonna need to happen. So for me, they're gonna have to play 50 or 60. I think they're dead set on it. I think they're gonna try to do whatever they can. So that's my hope. I think we have, with a little less of the old guys this season, I think minutes can be managed a little bit better. Hopefully they don't have to play as long of stretches. They don't have to play. Hopefully LeBron's not playing center this season at all. Stuff like that I think puts some wear and tear on his body. And still, like you said, that I'm shocked that he played 56 games last season. I didn't know it was that many. Anthony Davis, man, has had plenty of time off the last 2 years. He's the one who's really going to have to show up. It's Anthony Davis I'm worried about. I'm not as worried about LeBron. Anthony Davis needs to play 55 games this season, minimum. So I'm gonna need him to buckle up, do whatever he needs to do, and we need him on that court, because when he's on that court, hey, we have a shot going into anybody's gym if those two are suited up and ready to go.
AD is definitely the one person that you see this preseason and you just like, I want to just put my blinders on, forget all the other bullshit that's going around the roster construction and there being a $47 million possible sixth man. Just, if I could just harness the power of Anthony Davis's potential when I see him this preseason and plant that in regular season games for 60 games, man, we're a 5 seed, right?
That's what I'm saying.
This is
floor.
This is how important he is. There was stuff that came out, whatever BS rumor, take it as you wish, but with the Lakers, everything leaked somewhat. But they were talking about how there was some skepticism within the Lakers' high ranks that Anthony Davis can be that alpha, that him, right? Be Himmy Hardaway, pretty much. Like, this is his show and everything goes around it. I'm just keep it a buck, man. Until LeBron James hangs it up for good, whatever team he's on, it's him, right? He is probably going to be the best player on the team. So I do think it's a little unfair to expect Anthony Davis to like harness the control and the personality and the heart and soul of the team when it's like, yeah, someone who was going to take the reins from Kobe. Nobody. Kobe had to take himself out with his body breaking down. But regardless, I think Anthony Davis being available is the first step of showing that this is his world, and how the Lakers go is how, according to his health. We would really love to tie the on-court success to just simply, is AD playing? Or I don't care who we playing. We're probably, I feel good about that game. And just when you watch shit last year with him, he was not playing well when he was healthy, right? So now what? Now what do we do? We're fucked on both sides of the equation. When he's hurt, he's not playing. When he's playing, you want more. So I want Anthony Davis in that 50 to 60 game range. I know and I feel good about LeBron James being in that 50 to 60 game range. Whatever, if I could just tie them and make them a package deal, I would just say when they say that one sits out, both sits out, I don't give a shit. Just put them together for 50 to 60 and the Lakers are in good shape. So that is my ticket for, hopefully future success for this franchise, is them being on the court for 50 to 60 games together. Okay, this one should be a fan favorite. Since everybody loves themselves some Alex Caruso and the Caruso Goat, and how we will never hear the end of how much of just malpractice that was not re-signing Alex Caruso. We have a new question out for our poll. Who will win the Alex Caruso Award for Lakers fan favorite role player? This was pretty much an open question, just anybody but Anthony Davis or LeBron James. Omar, who'd you say? Who was going to win the Alex Caruso Award for Lakers favorite role player this season?
Yeah, I went with Lonnie Walker IV. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. He was in Pop system, and you know how players are. They go there and they kind of just get shackled up there and don't really get to shine, and are kind of defined by the system. So I think he'll be able to play very freely on the floor. I hope he shares the floor with AD and LeBron. A lot of defensive attention will be paid to them, and he can kind of attack on closeouts and within cutting lanes. Another big thing with him, I think, his athleticism will be able to help him stay on the floor both offensively and defensively. I think he adds another element when it comes to his verticality. I think he has like legit hops, and he dunks the ball with authority. And I think I will be surprised if he doesn't get like a few posters or like a dunk of the year type of candidate thing this year. I did waver between him and Nunn because Nunn has had some flashes, but I think I went with Lonnie the Walker the fourth. I think just to give him some love.
I like it. What'd you say, Kwame?
I think it's going to be a repeat performance of last year. And I know we didn't have the award last year, but we all know who won the award last year. I think he victory laps it this year. I think it's Austin Reeves. I believe it's Austin Reeves. For a lot of reasons. I know, preseason, even just some of the glimpses in the training camp, people were gushing over his playmaking and his ability. He has the intangibles. So, and again, before people jump in and say, it's because he's white, you're saying that. No.
Wow.
Well, that might be part of it. But I think the skill set that he brings, the intangibles, that sort of thing, like, he's not going to get necessarily have plays called for him. He's not necessarily going to, have the highlight, but this kid has a lot of potential, especially on the offensive side. I think they're going to use him as a ball handler here and there in frequent moments to kind of get the offense set and get guys in their spots and all that. So I think Austin Reeves has a really big jump in front of him. I think this sophomore season for him can be really big. I'm expecting great things from him, and I think the fan base is as well. So we'll see. This is a season that's meaningful, and can he be a meaningful player on a meaningful team? That's what a lot of people are curious about. So I expect him to take that leap into this next jump. So he's got his competition cut out for him in his position, but I think he'll still crack the rotation. I think he'll give us some solid minutes, and I think the Laker Nation will fall in love with him even more than they already are.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially if he's getting starters minutes, it would be just, something Lakers fans can beat their chest about, right? The Lakers found another hidden gem that, hopefully goes the similar trajectory that Caruso did, where Austin Reeves is starting a finals game and now deserves Jordan Poole type. No, I'm kidding. All I know is Guru, our Spaces host, has been a timeline terrorist for the past 72 hours.
Stirring the pot.
Riled up about it. So shout out to him. Make sure you're tuned into our Spaces after every Lakers game this season. Him and Stace they do an amazing job just, corralling and getting the pulse of the late night crazies at, I don't know, it's 2:00 Omar's time by the time they are in the teeth of things. So all good there. All right. We didn't even bring them up yet. We haven't talked about them, so let's talk about them, fellas.
Good reason.
How confident are you Russell Westbrook will be traded? Me? I'm sure there's a section of listeners that are still waiting for me to officially get my packing up because of how confident I was in Russ not being here to start training camp. You won't get it out of me, motherfuckers. You just won't. It is what it is. Get over it. But I still will stay consistent that, Woj is now talking about the Lakers are going to run this back up. Conversations about Russ are going to start coming up as the season gets going. My biggest question is, how far does it have to get bad? How far down into the season do we have to get before they find something? That kind of going to determine the health of this rest of the season, right? We get to the All-Star break, I'm gonna be honest, it might be a little bit too late for me for this to salvage whatever they bring back into turning into a playoff run. So I gave it a smooth 7. 0 being he's finishing the season with the Lakers, 10 being he's absolutely getting traded. I said a 7, and I think the Lakers will hopefully try to do it by December. Christmas time. Russ can't be in a Lakers jersey playing on Christmas Day. Send them to other teams that won't be playing on Christmas Day. But what'd you say, Kwame? What was your answer?
So it's been a long off season, man. I talked myself into it. I talked myself out of it more times than I'm sure plenty of y'all could believe. But I'm sure a lot of y'all also in the same boat. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know what to think. So I took the Cards way out. I'm deadlocked at 5. I couldn't tell you if he's gonna get traded or if he's not. I mean, for me, it's like I don't know what magical deal is gonna appear itself and reveal itself. And they're like, we'll take Russ. We'll give you our disgruntled star. I think that's literally the only option outside of the existing, I guess, Indiana trade, but we don't know how that's been panning out or what's actually gonna happen there. But
right.
Unless Rob's just sitting back waiting for a disgruntled star to be like, I want out. And he's like, hey, I got 2 firsts for y'all. And you can take this expiring. I don't see him getting traded for a better deal than we could have had in the offseason. So for me, I don't know. I don't have a great idea of what's going to happen. So, I mean, what's it dependent on? Is it dependent on Russ playing really well and upping his value, or do you diminish his value because the teams want to tank? I don't know what we're looking for here or what teams want with him or any of that. So for me, I'm stuck at 5, man. I'm glued. I have no idea. I mean, I could see both scenarios happening, but I don't have the utmost confidence in either one. So I'm gonna take the Cards way out and stay right in the middle.
Omar, what about you, bro?
I got an interesting perspective. I went with 10.
Nice. There we go.
Whoa.
Talk your shit. Let's hear it. Let's get into it.
Let's
Let's
do it.
hear it.
All right. 3 reasons why. Number 1, I think this team's going to suck to start the season. And fans, Laker Nation, the media is going to continue to criticize and talk their shit the way they do with the Lakers because it drives engagement and all that fun stuff. That's number 1. Number 2, and I think this is probably the most important factor into why I think it's a 10. Victor Wembanyama, or however you say his last name. I think the sweepstakes to get him and continue to tank, like Tankathon will start, I think, starting game 5 for a lot of teams. I think they'll be able to figure out, okay, this team sucks. I'm talking about other teams in the league. And I think they'll start, changing their rotations and changing their lineups to kind of, go slide games the opposite way. So I think that is a huge factor. And the way he's been playing has impressed, I think, literally every league official and even us. Like we've kind of talked about it in DMs of how freak this guy looks like. It looks like a created NBA 2K player. So I think that's number 2. I think that's a very, very important and underrated factor. And I think number 3, and I think a lot of people kind of glossed over this during the offseason, is how quickly LeBron James signed that extension. And I know, he's comfortable. LA is his new home. It's his second home and all that kind of stuff. But I have to think there was some sort of wink, handshake, like, hey, by game 20, game 15, if things don't work out, we're going to get Russell Westbrook out of here and try to make a step towards contention in your final years. And I think that's just kind of how I'd like to think how LA has operated in the past, with its stars. They've always kind of, when rubber meets the road, they kind of make the moves that necessary to try to increase our chances of winning. And I think other teams, for that second point I mentioned, with Victor kind of come into the fold, I think they will be, less willing. Their price will go down. And I think the other point too that I want to make is that as the games go on, Russell Westbrook's salary will go down too. So I know at the start of the season it's $47 million, but by the game 20, game 30, I think we're obviously actively paying his contract. So by a certain point, his contract
we only got to pay him $30 million. That was the Lakers.
It's not as bad. It's expiring, right?
Yeah, damn it.
So
yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna go with 10.
All right, I like it.
Wow.
I like it a lot, Omar. I like it so much. We're gonna move on to the next question. Well, based on Omar's confidence, my confidence, Kwame's indifference, how many wins will the Lakers finish with this season? Now, I put myself in the 43 to 46 range. I think the Lakers can. They have to be over 500. Again, I just got done talking about Anthony Davis and his health, him playing a decent amount of games with LeBron, them sharing the court together, right? They get through these first 10 games. I think they'll figure out, and Ham will figure out these rotations more. The rush trade happens. I think the Lakers, after effing around the first quarter of the season, I'll give it, they finally start hitting their stride and put together a 46-win basketball season. I don't think that's too crazy either way. I'm sure there's a lot of haters that will say, I don't know how the fuck you got 46 wins looking at this roster. But, I have a lot of confidence in if LeBron James and Anthony Davis are healthy and the Lakers get Russ off the roster for more help, this is a good basketball team. So I'll keep it short and sweet at 46. What about you, Omar?
I actually agree with you. I went with the same 43 to 46 win range. A lot of things that you said. I mean, I also have to, I said earlier that LeBron and AD are going to play 40 to 50 of those games. And if they're playing, I think they have a chance to win any game against most teams. So that's what I'll also keep it short and sweet. I think they have a chance, and I think they're starting to build out a culture. And I hope, and I think there are players there in the locker room that hold each other accountable.
Yeah, for me, I went a little higher than you guys. I did 47 to 50. Since I think that LeBron and Anthony Davis will play about 50, 60 games, I assume they win more of those than they don't. That catapults us, I think, above that margin. So at 47 to 50. Again, this is with the roster currently constructed. I think as long as Anthony Davis and LeBron James suit up that many times, I think they have a fair shot against anybody on most nights. So I think they end up substantially better. So yeah, if I had to pick an exact number, that range, I'd probably go about 48 wins.
That'd be lovely. From 33 to 48. That's, not to get all pie in the sky here, but now you're talking about Ham Coach of the Year talk, to be honest. Like, you're turning it around. But again, he's a Laker, so that automatically
we're not eligible for awards.
Not eligible for awards. So yeah, it's all good. We just get the finals MVPs when we're in the dance. That's all that matters, I guess. Oh, yeah. So all right. Well, I like that. Hey, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. The way y'all came in at the beginning of the questionnaire, and the energy, it felt like these answers would be a little bit more doom and gloom. So I appreciate y'all, talking through your opinions, and which leads us to our final question. We got a couple of NBA ones at the tail end, but this is our final Lakers-specific question, and it's the most important one. Fellas, how will the Lakers finish their season? Now, we asked the larger group. We gave them all the options: finals appearance, Western Conference Finals, second round exit, first round exit, play-in loss, missed the playoffs completely. Now, the Lakers last year missed the fucking playoffs completely. Hopefully, our answers don't reflect a repeat of what hell looked like. So I'll go last for this one. Kwame, why don't you kick us off? How will the Lakers season finish?
As currently constructed, that's what I took into account as I filled out this survey. Okay. With Russell Westbrook essentially on the team the entire season. No home run trade or nothing like that. As currently constructed, LeBron and AD playing the amount of games that I said, I got a second round exit. I think they can actually play really well. Obviously, once you get to the second round, it gets a little nittier and grittier. I think there'll be some teams that are a bit deeper than us. And our glaring issues will be a bit more glaring. We saw how our illustrious number 0 has been guarded in playoff series previously. So I don't feel great about that fit going into the playoffs because, you're playing the same team over and over. Every team's playbooks. They know your playbook. It gets a little more concise, rotation shortened. I think our talent may struggle at the second round level. So, like I said, it's currently constructed with number 0 on the roster. I got us as a second round exit.
That is very, very impressive, actually. It's currently constructed, too.
It's currently constructed. Again, if those guys play 50 to 60 games, I see this happening. But they got to play.
They got to play.
Omar,
what say you?
It's funny, Ricky. You mentioned that we both came in gloom and doom, and look at us being super optimistic. I went with second round exit as well. I think... And I always falter to this point, but, facing LeBron and AD, healthy LeBron and AD in a 7-game series, I think it's a very difficult and hard puzzle for an opposing team to figure out. So I think, them playing 38 to 40 minutes a game, I think it's just hard to kind of win out 4 games against them. And like you said, Kwame, when it gets to the second round, I think you just face a more deeper elite team, and it's just harder to kind of make some of those shots that you need to make when they have elite role players, that we don't. So that's what we got. Second round exit.
Yeah, I'm here with you, and we'll do another 3 for 3, all in a unison on that one. I also said second round exit, and it was like one of those situations where the Lakers first round matchup, if they are the lower seed, is like a Memphis, right? I know everybody's very excited about the young, scrappy, up and coming team, but as I predicted last year, I was like, they're once they get out of the play-in, they're going to be kind of a one and done type of deal, and it's more about youth and inexperience than it is about talent. So I think the Lakers, in having 2 top 75 players of all time, hopefully one that is still very much in his prime stays healthy to see the playoffs in one piece. And then, you never count LeBron James out of any playoff situation. Just got to get his ass there these days is the big challenge. So I think the Lakers, if the bracket shakes out in their favor, I could see a second round playoff exit. And to be honest, if we're looking at the grand scheme of things, that's a win for Darvin Ham. I think that's a win for just the non-depressing side of Laker basketball. Yes, we only play for championships, but goddamn it, this has been kind of fire and brimstone the last 365 calendar days. So I think we all would agree that would be a positive outlook on the season if the Lakers make it to the second round, but ultimately get bounced. Yep.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Sounds like a good spot.
There we go. Set the bar to the sky. Sky's the limit, right?
Right.
All right. 2 quick NBA-related questions before we wrap up here. First one is, who will win the NBA MVP this season? Omar, who is your pick?
I went with Luka Doncic. I think they're going to go with a new player to win MVP this season. I think they've surrounded – I know they lost Jalen Brunson, which means that he's going to be able to up his stats this season. I think they'll be able to carry a lot of what they did last year that worked well for them. They also added Christian Wood, which I think will continue to build a lot for their team. And I'm going to go with Luka Doncic. I think he's kind of like the next up-and-coming type guy. I mean, he's already kind of, cemented his place in the league, but I think he's just kind of get closer to that top 3, top 4, top 5 player in the league.
All right.
Conversation.
Luka Magic. What you think, Kwame?
I double down. I say Luka as well. Hey, I'm a Luka guy, man. I love me some Luka.
Are.
And I've been waiting for this.
Hey, Michael Porter Jr. Them two guys.
Hey,
future of the president of the league is in their hands.
Yeah. So, hey, this is season 5 for Luka. Playing some Euro ball. He shouldn't come in as a fat slob, so he doesn't have to play himself into shape. So I'm expecting an elite season, man. I mean, for this guy's career, guys, in 4 seasons, he averages 26.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, 8 assists. That is absurd. I only expect that to be better. I mean, he hasn't quite hit the marks of his second season where he averaged 29, 9, and 9. Like, that's absurd, but I expect him to build off this. I think he's starting to get a bit more in tune with his teammates and not so much of a ball dominant, pound the dribble, I got to do it all myself kind of guy. Right. But I mean, hey, I think he's going to put up the numbers. It's just going to be a matter, can they win enough for him to be recognized as the MVP? For me, I think him and Jokic are very similar players, just at different positions. One at the center position, one at like I guess you call it Luka point guard. But their skill sets are very similar. We saw Jokic just repeat. So, hey, that's like 4 Europeans in a row. We go Giannis, double Jokic, and then Luka. This is a global game, ladies and gentlemen, so be prepared. But
that's the thing. I don't think they can give it to them too.
No,
they just went back to back.
Exactly.
There's voters fatigue, as they call it.
Giannis can, have a resurgence. Joel Embiid, he would have to absolutely style, and the 76ers would have to be, a crazy team this season. But the East is very tough this year, so I don't know if Joel can repeat. He might still be in his blues about losing last year, but so for me, I have to slide with Big Luke.
Okay, I appreciate those. Those are like the minus 200s on the board. Luka Doncic says who could be finals or who could be the MVP of the league. I'm gonna go. I'm a bucket just a little bit. We talk about storylines. I agree. It'll be a first-time winner this year, but I think that the NBA would love nothing more for Ja Morant to take another step forward and go from most improved, now get his team into the playoffs. Now if the Grizzlies end up a top 3 seed this season, they are going to put Ja top 3 in the MVP rankings. And I'm going to tell you why. Ja Morant's highlight reel is only going to double once again. And if there's nothing that we have noticed from our MVP, our awards voters, they fall in love with people way sooner than they need to fall in love with people. Brother, what? I don't want to put this on Ja because how the rest of the career ended up not being as beautiful, but how Derek got LeBron's MVP, I think the media is well capable of falling in love and falling in a lot of like with Ja Morant this season and giving him an MVP consideration. Mark my words, my boy will be in the top 3 consideration when it's all said and done. He might not win it, but I'm gonna go and do a click to pick and say Ja Morant is this world's top player for the story, not for the actual stats, for the story.
You think the Grizzlies will be as good as they were last year?
I think the Grizzlies have an opportunity to stay flat. I think they can.
The Grizzlies are better without Ja Morant.
That's what I was about to say. It feels like fool's gold to me. Last season was a very injured West. I think the West.
He's an awesome player.
I think they get knocked down a little bit. I think they were having some fun, a bit of youthfulness. I don't know, man, but hey, well, I guess the season will tell us.
NBA storylines, man. I'm here for the running back with Ja Morant and his revenge tour. He gonna have a Lamar Jackson type of influence over the league. It's just as much on-field encore production as it is what he means for the entire brand and culture of the NBA. And folks are gonna start really eating that storyline up real quick after he jumps over somebody. Omar just wasn't fucking with it. He said he out.
It was blasphemy, bro. I don't blame you. No, you don't make a bad point. I mean, I think Ja could, I feel like the American media has been trying to push for an American face of the NBA. You see, Giannis hasn't really been too accepting of it, or has the media really like had a love fest for him the same way? So yeah, I could definitely see Ja being that guy. People think Luka and Jokic don't necessarily represent NBA basketball for whatever reason you may say. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they're too keen. And Zion was supposed to be the guy, but his foot kept blowing up under him. So
wow,
yeah, you might not be too far off on your Ja narrative. So we'll see when the season starts.
It's a narrative, brother.
They get early with the narratives. They get started
all.
Early. So don't
right. Pack this up. Don't do nothing. I understand it is not the most likeliest thing. The NBA is about narratives and the soap opera and how well you can tell the story from month to month. Because you got to keep eyes on the NBA for like the first 5 months of the season when it's just you got to really love the sport to be really interested in games 20 through 52. Right. All right. Real quick, Kwame. Who's your finals matchup this season?
Everybody healthy, right? Everybody healthy. And this is going to pain me to say more than anything because it hurts. It hurts who my Western Conference pick is. It hurts because it's absurd. But if I really had to pick, I would have to say the NBA Finals matchup will be the Milwaukee Bucks versus the bitch-ass Clippers in the finals.
Okay.
Barring health, that kills me to say, but their roster from top to bottom,
where I thought you was going.
They deep. No, I'm not going with light years. You crazy?
I thought you was back with light years. That's what you saw my eyes. I was like,
years,
wow, Kwame really kissing the ring these days.
No. I'm not going light years. Like I said, I watched Clay and Draymond look clunky as hell up and down that court. The young guys would really have to step up, in my opinion, for a repeat, especially again with a deeper and healthier West. I think the Clippers are the deepest team in the West. They have incredible wing play. You got Paul George, Kawhi, Norman Powell, Robert Covington. You got great wings. You got a solid center. You got a decent point guard rotation. I think they have all that's necessary. Ty Lue, as we all know, is a phenomenal coach. I think it's theirs to lose, in my opinion, in the West. Again, barring any health issues, I think it's theirs to lose in the West. In the East, I don't think there's a player better than Giannis. So, You know,
Right.
we saw he took the eventual, Eastern Conference champions to 7 games without Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton's back.
Yeah.
I see them. I don't think there's a team that has figured him out
No.
yet. As long as he
Chris
continues,
Middleton will be back soon.
Exactly.
Let's just say that.
And you got Drew there. You got their 3 is very good. They have some very good, auxiliary
Got
pieces
Joe
like
Ingles.
Joe Ingles. They added Joe Ingles. I mean, he's a bit older, coming off an ACL injury, but he can still handle the ball. He can still defend well, I'm sure. You got Bobby Portis, who's been a great addition.
Champ.
Brooke Lopez, stretch 5, good interior defender. To me, they have everything you want in a team. They're my team to beat.
Yeah. But just to piggyback off that, I am also picking the Bucks to come out of the East.
Mhm.
I for literally all the reasons why that you just said. I think this is Giannis's world and his moment, and I think finals appearance 2 out of 3 years, and bringing home another championship that hopefully we will be in attendance for up there, Kwame and up in Milwaukee. I think that's great. I think these legends are going to build their story with or without us seeing it, right?
Yeah.
And we could very well just be in the Giannis era of basketball where it's like, well, but he's not working on a three-peat right now. It's like, well, what happened, right?
Mhm.
Chris Middleton comes back and he's a competent basketball player. Joe Ingles, legs are all right. I think, they're in position. I could talk about Philly. I could talk about the Nets, but I think the Bucks, just their history, their camaraderie right now, they're coming out the East. And you will not get the Western Conference prediction out of me because it is your prediction, but you just won't get me to say it on the show. So, my pick was Kwame's pick. And what did Omar say? Omar said he had to, I don't know what it is. Oh, he said Bucks Warriors. So,
light years.
He picked light years. He picked light years to tie Bean. I will not stand for that. That's why they kicked him up out the chat. So
yeah, we had to bounce him.
Had to go.
That's blasphemy. But no, I mean, I entertained in the East Philly a little bit, but I don't trust their coach as far as I can throw him. So I don't believe that Dr. Rivers will be able to conjure anything when they get plugged in the playoffs. Hey, I like James Harden. I hope he has a resurgent year. I like Joel Embiid. I hope he stops twerking for fouls. I think they have a really good team, but again, hey, if the coach can't put together a competent game plan or make adjustments, they're not going to go as far as they could. So Philly's been a team that's underperformed in the playoffs, in my opinion, for several years. I expect that to continue. So for me, like I said, I got to hold the Bucks.
There it is. Milwaukee Bucks, your 2023 NBA champions. So says the Late Night Lake Show panel. Again,
you won't hear me say the bitch ass Clippers winning. So you didn't even have to ask. You assumed. You knew.
Yeah. Please, you've gone too far already. Please.
Oh yeah.
But I think well, there it is, folks. This is our 2022-2023 season prediction show, kicking off season 7 of the Late Night Lake Show podcast. Once again, we really appreciate you guys rocking with us over these past 5.5 years, 7 seasons of the brand. As you guys know, we only gonna come stronger and come harder and come more frequently and put out that good content for you guys. And there was pauses all through that last little rant, but just know I meant that with all the right love. So that'll do it for us on the Late Night Lake Show podcast. Again, if you guys aren't already, make sure to leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. Give us a sub over on YouTube. We're doing big things over there. We got a new show over there with Late Night Lake Show's Fast Break with myself and Alex from the Lakers Central podcast. He's doing great things. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Stace and Guru, for your post-game Lakers spaces and in-game tweets. And then make sure you're following us on Instagram, man. I'm doing my best to try to just make some original real content. So we'll see how all that goes. Kwame's holding it down on TikTok, so I got a lot to learn. Every time we talk about some shit, and he's like, brother, this is not how TikTok works. And then I get confused and I feel old. I'm like, damn, I am 30. Anyways, that'll do it for us, guys. Hopefully our predictions give you guys some optimism heading into the season. At the same time, right, we don't blame you if you don't. So for Kwame and Omar and the entire Late Night Lake Show family, it's Ricky. Go Lakers. Have an amazing year, y'all. We'll see you on the timeline. Peace.